You are welcome to this class. Relax, sit like a scholar, and enjoy the class. Looking at this image, we're going to ask ourselves some basic questions. 1. Why are these children looking like this? Is it that they were born this way? 2. Is it the children's fault that they are looking this way? 3. What do you think is the cause of this? Answers to these questions are: number 1, these children are sick. They were not born like this. 2, it is not the children's nor the parents' fault that they are looking this way. It is the situation the parents are in. Number 3, the reason for looking this way is that they lack the basic food nutrients, no sufficient food, and this leads to sicknesses and diseases. So we're going to be discussing on poverty and diseases. Our topic today is poverty and diseases. Can we say it together? Poverty and diseases. We are going to focus on 4 objectives in this lesson. These are: 1. Say the meaning of poverty. 2. Highlight some of the factors that contribute to poverty. Number 3. Enumerate at least 4 diseases that are linked to poverty. Number 4. Outline some ways in which poverty can be eradicated. Note that it is God's wish that everyone should prosper and be in good health. But remember, there is no food for a lazy person. Using this image, how can you define poverty? Do you think this boy or the people that lived in this house or environment like this place? No. But because they don't have enough money or income, they choose to live here. So we can define poverty as not having enough money or enough material possession or income for personal needs. Let's take it again. Poverty is not having enough material possessions or income for personal needs. Poverty is the number 1 killer of people in the world today. It affects people in different ways. Here are some facts on how poverty affects the world from the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, United Nations Development Program. It says more than 1.2 billion people in the world live on less than $1.5 per day. That is less than 800 naira. That is called the poverty line. Poverty line is the minimum amount of money a person can survive on in a day. 2. 2/3 of the world's illiterate people are women. 3. Less than 50% of Africa's population has access to hospitals or doctors. All over the world, there are people who live in poverty. In developing countries like Africa, account for over 70% of poor people, while in developed countries like UK, US, account for less than 30% of poor people. When you look at this chart, you will see the poorest countries in the world and the people living in extreme poverty. Before now, India used to be the poorest country in the world with 71.5 million people living in extreme poverty. But as of today, Nigeria is the poorest country in the universe with 86.9 million people living in extreme poverty. Let's highlight some factors that contribute to poverty in Nigeria. How can you say that a country like Nigeria that is blessed with so many natural resources like the crude oil, the natural gas, the bitumen, the coal, the limestone, and so many others is rated as the poorest in the world? What could be the problems? Some of the factors that contribute to poverty are: 1. Underdevelopment. It means Nigerians refuse to develop these mineral resources and depend on only one source, which is the crude oil. Number 2, overpopulation. Nigeria has the highest population in Africa, and a country that is so populated cannot depend on one source of income. It can lead to poverty. Number 3, corrupt government or greedy leaders. When the leaders of the people are only interested in themselves and keeping their valuable resources for themselves instead of developing the country, it might lead to poverty. Number 4, debt. When we get or borrow resources from other countries, because we have limited resources, by the time you pay back the borrowed money, there will be little or no money left for the country. So we have established 4 factors that contribute to poverty in Nigeria. These are: number 1, underdevelopment; number 2, overpopulation; number 3, corrupt government or greedy leaders; number 4, debt. Let's look at some diseases that are linked to poverty. First of all, poor people lack access to good food, eating unbalanced diet. Unbalanced diet leads to malnutrition and diseases such as kwashiorkor, anemia, rickets, beriberi, and some others. 2. It is obvious that because of the presence of this stagnant water and the dirty environment, they will suffer from mosquitoes' bites, leading to malaria. Also, because of the flood and the dirty environment, the drinking water will be polluted, causing typhoid fever, cholera, diarrhea, and dysentery. So, some of the diseases that are linked to poverty are kwashiorkor, rickets, anemia, malaria, typhoid fever, cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, and so many others. Some of the ways poverty can be eradicated by everyone, including the government in Nigeria, are: number 1, everyone should invest in girls' education. Number 2, everyone, including the government, should think of different ways to convert our mineral resources to wealth. Number 3, people should expand economic opportunities. More people should be involved in agriculture. Number 4, the government should create more jobs for the unemployed people. 5, unemployed people should create jobs for themselves. Put your hand on your chest and repeat after me. Together we can eradicate poverty. In today's lesson, we have learned about the meaning of poverty, the different causes of poverty, and the different ways to eradicate poverty, especially in Nigeria. Write these activities and use this video link to watch a short video on this lesson. Thank you.